I feel scammed.
The
like
language. Yeah. I think
we regret it to this day. The
Scandinavian. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ugly Wood Company Podcast.
We're your hosts for today,
Glennard.
and Nicole.
So what are we going to talk about today?
So today we'll be talking about
Renovation in Singapore.
So the National Day just passed.
Okay, we are recording this on the day after National Day. So when we release it next week, happy 1 week after National Day. Happy SG60 plus 7 days.
And happy getting $600 vouchers.
But yeah, we are going to talk about renovation in Singapore. We have personal experience in renovation. I think on our end, obviously this house that you see, we have gone through that renovation process as a couple. But before that, I had some renovation experience with my parents' home.
Oh yeah.
We helped to renovate my auntie's home in Malaysia because the long story short is basically she is disabled. She can't really speak. So she approached my mom for help for renovation, and my mom approached me for help for renovation, knowing that I have experience in design and architecture. And then from there, we did some renovation in Malaysia. In Singapore, there was also a little bit. I remember when I was 10 years old, I had some exposure to like that construction process, but none of the negotiation process.
But that was when you moved house, right?
Correct. So I moved house at the end of being 9 years old at primary 3 or early 9 years old. But anyway, I moved house. I remember the construction process, but I don't remember that conversation process. It was all handled by adults.
I don't think you as a 10-year-old would be involved in the negotiations.
I'll be in the room saying I want this.
Yeah, I want this color.
I want that.
Yeah, I don't think you're in that in-depth of a conversation with the ID.
Yeah. But my mom does have a lot of experience. I think she shared with me a lot during both the two processes. So the Malaysia being almost 10 years ago, and then this being in 2023. Mm-hmm. During that process of 2023. How about you, Nicole? What is your experience with renovation, interior design, construction?
Actually, I don't think my house actually gone through a lot of renovation. So the ones that I can remember, okay, so I moved house, right? That was when I was still very young. So even younger than primary school.
Yeah.
So I obviously don't even have the memory of the construction also when I moved house. So the only ones that I really have let's say experience is when my parents decided to just paint the house, and also when they undergone the government's is it HIP?
Home Improvement Program.
Yeah, the Home Improvement Program where they installed the
new bathrooms, new fittings.
New bathroom fittings. And also when my housing block got another lift landing.
Oh yeah.
So they built another door at my balcony. Yeah. But that was quite small, I think.
How long ago was that?
I can't remember. Maybe
20 years? Thereabout.
Maybe 10 plus years. Yeah. So that's kind of I think my experience with interior design, not a lot, and it's all very minor.
Mostly construction based, not so much the design.
So it's a lot of very minor works, like painting. Okay. Yeah, and I'm definitely not involved in any of them.
Yeah. So coming into this process for our own home, right? It's definitely more or less new for you. For me, it was kind of one-time experience plus the academic experience I had from school in architecture school.
But your architecture school, you didn't actually learn interior design, right? It's not. Do you have modules for interior design?
So the way architecture school works, right, is architects like to think that they can be both interior designers and building designers, because fundamentally that is the same skill. Okay, so
on a different scale.
Yeah, so architects like to think that.
Okay.
When you talk to an interior designer, a specialist interior designer, they will not say the same thing. They will tell you that it is its own set of skills that do not kind of line up exactly with what you learn in architecture school, which I am inclined to agree. I think that it is reasonably fair to say that, they are specialists in their own area. Okay? So my experience, right, having like lived through that experience is, I think when it comes to making it work in interior design, right, you are working with the walls and the structural components more or less in place already.
Yeah.
So most of the skills and design abilities that you need, right, it's really revolving around, okay, how do I make this space more livable, more useful, more relevant to the person staying here. And I think even broader than that, right, it is, if you're an architect, right, you can do very sculptural things. You can change the form of something to suit your needs. So for example, if you want to make a park, you can make a park. You can dedicate land space to say, okay, this is for greenery.
In a sense, you're starting from scratch.
You can, yeah, correct. You can mold the clay, so to speak. But if you were an interior designer, you are stuck with that shape. So a lot of that skill set, right, is I think about it as interior designs, right, are like shopping with various kind of suppliers. You are like shopping and seeing what can the supplier give you that matches what you need. Because we talk about form being unchanging, right? If you're an architect, you can say, okay, I want, this building to be a round cove instead of just a like square shape. But if I were interior designer, the only way I could do that, right, is I install a false ceiling that kind of tries to mimic that space. But it always shrinks what I have. So interior design, right, as I go into that, I felt personally it feels like shopping. It feels like the closest experience, right, that anybody can try is it feels like playing The Sims. Which, fun fact, it started out as a kind of interior design / architectural simulator. The designer, the creator of that game did want to make that. And then they introduced the people just to, have some more life into the game. I didn't know that. But it is like The Sims in that you have that kind of fixed menu of items. And then you are trying to make the space look more inviting or behave a certain way for your user. So, interior design is very, very much like The Sims, I feel. But of course, with a lot more options, with a lot more complications, with a lot more of its own challenges, lah. But before we get into, I think, interior design, let's talk about the house per se. Let's give them a bit of a timeline reference. So, Nicole, can you share with us how this getting the house, how did that work?
Yeah, so I'll just keep it brief now, because the episode is more about the renovation itself. So in terms of getting the house, we started in late 2022. So actually from the start, we already decided that we don't really want to go the BTO route, which is like a build to order route that we have in Singapore. So because that entails waiting for at least 4 to 5 years before you can get a house. So we wanted to kind of cut short that process. So we went with, so we had two options. So one is either sales of balance of flats or the resale market.
So for those of you who are like kind of not so aware what that means, right? Basically, it simply means resale means you're buying from a private owner. You're still buying a
from
HDB.
The free market, I would say.
You're still buying a HDB from it's a government kind of apartment unit, but it is like what you said, free market. The private owner can decide they want to sell this for $1 million. They want to sell this for $1, right? Alternatively, right, if you did a sale of balance flat, which is SPF, you would basically sign up for like a waiting list on the government portal, and they will just give you a list of whatever units were available based on your queue number. So the queue number simply dictates, right? Like if there were 20 people before you who want that unit or want that list of units, they would choose all the way until it reaches your turn.
So the sale of balance flats is more of like, it's actually the remaining flats from that build to order housing block. So it's just flats that people that were not taken up by the initial round of people bidding for that BTO. Okay, so anyway, so our plan was so the sale of balance flats the bidding will start like it takes place every few months throughout the year. So our plan initially was to bid during the time when the SBF bidding was out. And then if we don't get it, we will look around in the free market for a resale flat. So we actually tried doing the SBF. We tried bidding for SBF once. It didn't work out. So then after that, we looked at resale market. So we got a housing agent to help us look around. We gave him some of our requirements. Like for example, it needs to be near the MRT station, or it needs to be it cannot be it cannot be less than 5 floors, that kind of thing. So then
So
after
okay,
that,
specific to renovation, right? So I think the one that our agent talked to us about, right, was normally if the owners have done renovation recently, they will bump up the price a bit. And then sell you as kind of like a ready to go. You can immediately move in with your furniture and you don't need to do any additional work. That was something we did not want to go ahead with because I think we discussed it early on. No matter what, we wanted to renovate the house to shape it to kind of what we
our
want.
personality,
to our requirements, our personality, our interest.
Yeah.
So that was, in terms of relevancy to this topic of renovation, we wanted a house that was cheaper. And because we knew we were going to kind of tear down and redo a lot of pieces.
Little renovations made to the house, I think.
Yeah.
So that we don't need to change that much, like in terms of like tearing things down or like changing the whole flooring.
Or we just
didn't
didn't want to be charged a premium for a house that somebody already made nice lah.
Yeah, and then ultimately we will kind of remove that design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think basically that's our entire kind of buying process. We will just kind of end it there. If you're interested in kind of how we even bought our house or how we approach the agent or all those things, do leave a comment in this video and then we will talk about it in another episode another time soon. But for now, let's talk about renovation. So the date now is, I think, end 2022. We have just kind of like confirmed that we are getting this house where we are living now. So we have signed the contracts, we have paid the deposit. Okay? So obviously the first step is to find an interior designer.
Yeah. Wasn't that very enlightening, Glennard?
That was so enlightened. By the way, what are you wearing?
Oh my god, it's the new Agriwood Company t-shirt. Oh my god. Wow. It's a shirt that you can make a mess in. And you know what else?
This shirt is available right now at www.uglywoodcompany.com in all sizes. If you put in the coupon code
podcast shirt, PODCASTSHIRT,
you can get 10% off.
That's right. That sounds amazing, Glennard.
You should go and get a shirt now.
I think you should go and get a shirt now. Okay, back to the video. So how we started our renovation process is we started by going to Pinterest to find different kinds of interior designs that we like. So from the start, we kind of know that we don't like, or rather we don't want to go for the minimalist style. I don't know, is it because it's more of in terms of our living habits, our way of life, right, is quite messy in a sense. So if we were to do, we kind of know that if we were to do the minimalist style, the moment it gets messy, it doesn't look nice anymore. So finding the different designs and everything, we had one thing that was quite clear, which is we wanted to make our house look good lived in. So then, so that's why we didn't go for the minimalist style. And secondly, we wanted something with more colors in our house. So you can see from our sofa, it's it's purple, which is, I would say, it's not really a common.
It's a very novel idea.
Common color that people normally buy. People normally buy more muted colors,
brown,
more
grey,
beige colors.
white,
Yeah.
When I suggested the purple sofa, I remember your reaction was very visceral. It was like, huh?
It was good or bad? I can't remember.
No, it was bad.
Oh.
You always say, right, you entered your purple era after we moved into our house.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because purple and green era.
Correct. Because you couldn't believe that purple color was a acceptable alternative.
Because it's very loud.
Yes.
So it can be quite gaudy,
Yeah.
like the HDB block.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do think that's one of the reasons why interior designers, renovation, they generally don't want to try kind
Very
of
bold
very
new
bold colors,
ideas.
bold ideas, because it's something that, number one, it feels very risky. It is something that you have to look at it, right? Then you can say,
Yeah.
oh, I think this is good.
Yeah.
Most people cannot imagine living in such a environment where things people the way I always think about it, right, is people like jeans because it's very flexible and versatile.
Okay.
That's how they approach their home also. They want something that like works for everything. But when you do something that works for everything, it suddenly feels like, oh, like everybody has the same idea. Everybody wear jeans.
Okay.
You know? But yeah, we made that mood board on Pinterest. But I think more importantly than that, right, is we didn't try to go for a unified look when we are looking for inspiration. Right. So these are kind of like very, very small tips, right? The idea is when we were going through this process, I had a very clear idea because I've been doing this for 4-5 years in my design school, right? I have a very good sense of how I want to do design, inspiration, research, etc.
Yeah.
But you didn't. It was your first time.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did, right, was to say, okay, let's break it down, right? We don't need to find and hunt for one picture that is perfect. We should find a few pictures, put them side by side and say, okay, I like this, I don't like this. And I like this because I like maybe this kind of furniture or this kind of shape. Or this kind of color or this kind of lighting. But we weren't bound to say like, oh, we need one picture to be perfect. Because so two things that firstly, it's very difficult to find. But secondly also is, if you found that one picture, right, what you do is just you end up trying to copy that picture exactly, which is not useful. Like, it wasn't something that I wanted to replicate someone else. So yeah lor.
No, and then also plus, right, we didn't really go in a sense, like what it like adds on to what you say, right, which is like we didn't go the conventional way of like, okay, there's a specific interior design style that we like Japanese, like Scandi, or like maximalist, or that kind, like a very
a term lah.
Yeah, like a term for it. So
trend.
It adds to the difficulty of like searching on Pinterest, like what to search, because it's like it's not really that kind of style also.
Yeah.
But then after that we managed to get our mood board ready, and then after that next we like just search up on different interior designers available in Singapore.
So how we went about that searching process, right, was so there are a few platforms that showcase local designers that are looking for work. And then obviously their portfolio. So I think we shortlisted, I think at the end of the day, around 8 or so IDs. So it was a different mix of how do we shortlist them in the first place. So one avenue we found, right, was award winners. So IDs that have won awards like Singapore Design Award or like Interior Design Awards, things like that. There was another one where we were looking from image and then we found their names. So we were looking for specific type of designs that we liked. And then we found we traced back who was the original kind of designer. And then there were 1 or 2 that were kind of like forwarded to us or recommended to us through advertising or through just like kind of road shows and things like that. We didn't go out of way to look for it, but I think if we pass by, we just give them our information and then we just had a chat with them lah. So because it was such a kind of like varied process, right, not all of them were to our expectations.
Actually, was there a reason why we didn't attend the ID roadshows? Like, you didn't seem interested in attending those.
I didn't go out of my way to look for it. But
do you know there are such
I know that there were roadshows, but I didn't go out of my way to look for it because I wasn't interested in the very pre-packaged style of roadshows. So my impression, right, and I'm sure it's probably not the reality, at least not in 2025, but my perception of them were always like, oh, okay, we are going to do a 5-room flat that is like a package price of 30K.
Mm-hmm.
And it includes this and this and this and this. The issue with us, right, is because I think we had very out there requirements, very unusual requirements.
Yeah.
We didn't want to find this kind of package deals. Like we weren't trying to get a house that was like budget wasn't our number one concern. So it did feel like the roadshow wasn't the way to go.
I wonder if it's also cause the roadshows. Okay, so as we were finding the interior designers, right, looking at their portfolios and everything, we realized quite a number of the portfolios mostly do Japandi or Scandi kind of designs. So I don't know if it's because we know that okay, these designers will likely be at the roadshow as well.
In retrospect, probably.
Yeah, so it's like okay, there's no point in going if we already know we don't want them. We don't want this kind of design already. Yeah. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that was probably one of the big influences.
Yeah, now thinking back.
Thinking back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so from our short list of 8, we actually kind of cut it down. Actually, it came down to 2 designers that we really, really like. And then ultimately, we had to pick one. And sad to say, right, we from the 2, we had to choose the final one based on price.
Yeah. And sad to say, we regretted it.
We do regret choosing it based on price because I think
we regret it to this day.
that was a lesson for us lah. I think that really was a lesson
Never
for us.
Never choosing the idea again.
No, actually no. The lesson I'll take away from that, right, it's not that don't choose based on price. I think the lesson I'll take away from that, right, is you choose based on what is listed in the quotation. Like now that I've really processed the quotation myself, right, I can now understand, right, why we were kind of shortchanged from our requirements.
Why?
Because even though, right, we just call it ID1 and ID2.
Okay.
So ID1, right, was the one we chose.
Okay.
They gave us an initial quotation of around, I think, like 45 to 55,000.
Okay.
And ID2 gave us a quotation of between 55,000 to 65,000. If you go and look at the fine print, right, the reason why ID1 could give us a lower price was because they were speccing their quotation to the cheapest possible materials. Yeah. So you were talking about the cheapest tiles in your bathrooms, the cheapest vinyl in the floor, the cheapest kind of like laminate.
At this point, the quotation, right, we haven't chose the tiles,
correct.
Right?
And that was like, I do feel kind of...
red flag!
Yeah, I do feel kind of like...
cheated eh.
I would want to warn...
I feel scammed.
...other people about this, right? Which is that when you see that initial quotation, right...
Still not choosing the idea.
You have not chosen your tiles, your flooring like type, and your laminates. Like there are a lot of choices that you actually haven't made yet. And when they give you that quotation, right, it is a speculative...
It's like the bare minimum.
The speculative quotation based on the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So if they have some level of ethics, right, they will actually put a kind of like mid-range...
Oh, okay. And not the lowest
option. They will give you a mid-range option, right? But
average
it makes
price.
Yeah, it makes the quotation look bigger. So and therefore they actually, lose customers because of that. And then the one that we chose, right, which we assume is kind of more common practice, right? They would have chosen a lower end option and then say that, oh, it's cheap because we chose this. One of the things that my mom advised me, right, and I didn't expect it to manifest here lah. I was looking out for it, but I didn't expect it to come about here, right? Which is that interior designers and contractors, right, they don't earn a lot based on their initial contract. They earn the most from variation orders, VOs. Variation orders, right, means you have already signed the contract and you say, oh, I want to change my mind after the contract has been signed, after the price has been fixed.
Okay.
So because you are choosing to VO certain items, right, they can charge you a higher price or without you realizing. And you are more likely to say yes because you have already seen what that thing looks like and you say, hey, I want this over that piece of shit that you suggested originally.
But it's also because since you already signed the contract, you can't back out. So
precisely,
you have to go with
precisely,
it.
Like legally,
they have given.
every right. Legally, they have every right, right, to do this and charge a higher price. Because they themselves have logistical concerns to go with. It's like, for example, if you change a certain type of flooring, right, then that changes the timeline, the scheduling for their subcontractors and their contractors. So that has downstream effects. I fully understand
So slimy.
why VOs cost more. The problem is I didn't expect it to manifest at such an early stage. Right. So I do, you know, if anybody is watching until this point, right, I do want to warn you to really take a hard look. Don't just take the lower quotation because it's a lower quotation. It is a lower quotation because they are able to put things inside that bring down the price and then charge you for it after. So that is something. That is not to say that they are slimy or they are trying to be
they are.
Scammers. But the issue is because a lot of this information is not made clear.
I feel scammed.
Correct. So like the feeling you get at the end of the day, right, is why are these professionals scamming me? I can see both sides of the argument and say that no, it's just we didn't have time to clarify, all these terms. An ID quotation, right, is closer to a legal contract than it is to a price check at a shopping center. That is something that we don't ask. If any of you have bought cars before, right, buying a car, right, is simpler than renovating your house.
Right. Because it's just one price.
It's not that it's just one price. Like the difficulty in paperwork is financing. But in ID, right, is your financing affects your final result.
Yeah.
In a car, right, your financing affects how much you pay. But you get more or less the same car. Just like maybe less GPS.
There's not much things to add on.
Yeah, there's not much things to change. Because it's not a leather, interior. It's a vinyl interior instead.
But it's like very minor things.
It's things that you can live with.
Yeah.
But in an interior design, right, when the legal terminology, right, will really mess you up if you're not paying attention. So I do find it very annoying.
And the thing is, in the end, we still paid like quite a high price.
Yeah. So okay.
So that is like the worst part. There's no point in like there's no point in the initial quote anymore.
Correct. So I'm going to pull up, right, some of our old numbers. Okay. So yeah. So the final price, right, that we paid to our interior designer. So this excludes the electronics. So like installation. This excludes the like things like your fridge, your oven. All it includes the interior design fee, the renovation fee, the electrical, things like the fittings like your fan, your lights, fan and lights, mostly just fan and lights.
Fan and lights.
Yeah.
Like the ceiling fan
in totality,
and lights.
right, we paid close to just plus minus
I think shy of
70,000.
Yeah.
That was the total fee. And you must be wondering, right, how did we even get to this point? How did a quotation of between 45,000 to 55,000 become 70,000 at the final stage of payment? Okay, so here is where we can give you very real advice, very real tips. Okay, and we didn't know this was the normal practice. Okay, tip number 1. Electrical points and lighting points are not part of your initial quotation. This was news to me.
It's very sly.
It's very strange.
It's very slimy.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's quite standard practice, right?
It's very standard practice. So
it's too of a standard practice.
So when we were, doing our renovation process, we were also talking to different people. And after we completed, other people kind of asked us for advice. Everybody across the board, right? They always get shocked at the electrical pricing.
Like how expensive it is.
Correct. I've had one friend who bought a condo and I think she bought the highest floor.
Okay.
So that's why her ceiling height is normal than our standard 2.4 meter. It's closer to like 3 meters.
Yeah.
Her electrical is close to 10K.
Oh, it was 10K.
For point of reference, right, our electrical,
right,
it
was like around 8,000 plus, right?
Yeah, our electrical, right, is around 3,000.
Yeah, and we already cut out a lot. I think at the start it was a lot more, like 5K or something.
Yeah, the original was around 5K and we had to cut down a lot. And not just that we cut out a lot, they also made a lot of mistakes. So we will talk about the mistakes later, but I think just talking about kind of the electrical side, right? It's the electrical things, it's just wiring, your lighting points, your
plugs, I
internet
think.
cable. Yeah, so electrical points like where your plug locations are, your lighting points where your light bulbs will go in, your internet points where your LAN cable will be plugged in. So just those three things, right? They added up to our final price we paid was 3,000. Yeah. So this actually excludes a few things. This actually excludes the light that you're buying, the light bulb that you're buying, the light kind of like what is it called? The light
fixture.
Yeah, the light fixture, the lamps that you're going to buy. So if you have, and we already did it the cheap way, right? Which is I grew up as the son of an optometrist. So we are I am very averse to what is it called? Spotlighting. Spotlighting and the small
LED
light points. Not LED per se, but just like having a lot of small lights.
Okay.
To light up a space. It's a very popular thing in interior design, right? Because they say that it lights up your house more evenly. But as someone who grew up with optometry, right, what happens is that it actually creates like 10 shadows instead of one shadow. So I get very kind of like annoyed, and sometimes even I get a headache because of that. Okay.
And spotlight is very hot.
Yeah, and then second thing is also spotlights are very hot.
I never knew how hot a spotlight is until I sat down under one in a restaurant somewhere. It's like, why am I feeling so hot?
Yeah.
Like there's no aircon at all. It's it's just a spotlight.
It's like the light they put to heat up the bread.
It's for the museum.
No, it's not just that. It's the same light they use to keep the bread warm when they're
like in the bakery.
In the bakery display.
The curry puff display.
Yeah. So it excludes the lights. It excludes your ceiling fans if you have any ceiling fans. Because you have to go and choose the model that you want before they install.
And the thing is, can I just say, even paying 3,000 for the electrical points, right? After living in the house for a few months, I realized there are some electrical points that I wish could have been here. Like
you wanted more.
Either wanted more or I would change the placement. Yeah. But I think that is something that you would only know after experience. Yeah, so maybe the next time when we renovate our house again, then it's like, okay, we'll have this knowledge.
So on our end, right, like I think with electricals, right, like it's unavoidable to learn this. I think nobody will get it perfect one. Because before you move into a house, right, before you move your furniture in, right, you cannot visualize where and how you are using your electrical stuff. Right? So for example, right, like we have an electrical point, we have 2 electrical points here, right?
Yeah.
We have only used it like once every 2-3 months.
When I iron. I only use one.
Yeah. And you only use one. So it's like we imagine, right, we want 2 on the side of each sofa. On both sides of the sofa. 2 each. And we ended up only using 1 or 2.
I think because we thought we will charge our phone there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
in our master bedroom, I would like to have a few more pots actually.
At your
like
side?
nearer to the door, I think. Because there are some times when I feel like, okay, we wanted to move our fan, right? But then because there's no electrical points nearby, we only have one spot where we can plug in our fan, like our electrical standing fan. Yeah. So I would like to have more electrical points in the master bedroom actually.
So you will have so the experience, right, is the lesson learned, right, is you will have a mix of both points that you wish you had and points you don't actually need. So you have, I think, just as many minuses as pluses.
So they cancel out.
So they cancel out essentially. So like lesson learned, right, is like you can never get it perfect, but if you have the money to spare, of course, more is better than less. More is always better than less. Right. But to go back to that initial, I think it feels very slimy. There's nothing wrong. They are like perfectly within their legal right? But it feels very slimy to have that as an after the fact.
I will die on this hill.
Yeah, so on the quotation side, right, like one of the issue we were having is with the electrical plugs. Okay, so what else? So secondly, right, is when they have given you your quotation, right, we were saying earlier that you have not chosen your tiles. So tiles being for your bathroom, for your kitchen, for your flooring. You have not chosen your flooring like vinyl or tiles. You have not chosen your laminate for any carpentry that you have. So any kind of built-in cabinets, kitchen cabinets, your island tables, things like that. At this point, you have not chosen your laminates. And the quotation that we got, they quoted us for like the cheapest possible option for everything, which is why we ended up paying a higher premium.
Right.
So, okay, let's talk about our laminate first. Okay, so we earlier said, right, we wanted color in our house.
Yes.
Our ID was not prepared for that.
Was he not?
So, okay, so it's again, right, like kind of recapping the story, right?
I thought we told him at the start.
We did. We gave him exactly what kind of colors that we like and we want.
Okay.
So he gave us back. I think we were a bit thankful, right? We didn't do it in the era of AI, right? So we knew that these kind of things that did exist in the real world.
Oh, okay.
But that's neither here nor there, lah. So the proposal that they sent back to us, it gave us kind of like the correct design inspiration and vision that we wanted. So we were like, hey, you know what we are looking for. I think we can work together.
Yeah. That was the reason why we chose
That
them.
was the reason why we shortlisted them to one of two.
Yeah, because a lot of the other IDs, they can't quite seem to get the vision that we wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the one of the two that could do it. And we were like, okay, sounds like you know what we want.
Yeah.
What ended up happening, right, was even though in the digital presentation, in the PowerPoint presentation, they could show us this is what we wanted. When we asked them in reality, right, what is going to look like, which sample they are going to use, they couldn't do it again. They were giving us samples. So we just talk about laminates for now, the kitchen laminates for now. They were showing us samples that were very inferior to the color that we wanted. So as a general kind of like idea, right, we wanted a green or a blue or a yellow kind of kitchen. So basically a very colorful kitchen. Because in the kitchen, right, it was only going to be...
Not yellow.
Yellow was... I remember there was yellow for something.
I thought it was only blue and green.
Okay, maybe it was only blue and green.
Okay.
So we knew that in the kitchen, right, like other than the appliances, there weren't any kind of like visually distinct object in the kitchen. So we wanted the cabinets themselves to be
to stand out.
Interesting, visually interesting. Because somehow you wanted an open kitchen.
Like open shelf kitchen.
So the open kitchen was a hard requirement. The kitchen had no door. Had one glass door, but no like kind of solid wooden door. There was
okay, that's what you're referring to. Okay, no, I thought you meant like the shelf. Like I don't want the doors.
As in, you don't want a kitchen door.
Yeah.
And as a result of that means that everyone in the living room, dining room area can see the kitchen. So we don't want that space to be like boring.
Right.
Which means that the colours had to be right, lah. And then he gave us like some options for the templates, right? For the laminate samples, right? And they were all kind of like quite disappointing. So they gave us a render.
I think
we
were quite surprised.
They gave us a digital render of like that place of our kitchen design with the sample that they have chosen for us.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, so I'll give you my perspective first. So when I saw it, right, I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it so much. And then I started showing you. I think you had a very big reaction. Do you remember?
Was it at the start? Was it already green?
It was the very dark green one. It was the whole thing only dark green one.
Okay. I cannot remember.
Okay, I cannot remember. So
no, but I think
sorry, it wasn't the whole thing dark green. It was the whole thing light green.
It was too lime green, right?
It was too lime green, correct.
Yeah.
It was like yellow lime green. Yeah. So you had a very big reaction. I saw the picture first and I wanted to like it so much.
Yeah. You were trying to convince yourself a lot.
I was trying to convince. So I just kept quiet first and then I show you and then you had that reaction. Then I showed to like kind of the people around. I showed my parents. I don't know if you can show your parents or not.
I don't know.
I showed my parents. And then their first reaction was like, how come look like ketupat? How come look like, the banana leaf?
Oh.
So I was like,
no. This is not the green we wanted.
So we said, okay, this is not what we want.
Yeah.
We sent it back. And then they gave us back another kind of sample. So they didn't do the render first. They just sent us a sample. And we said, you only have 2 versions of green and like you didn't send us any blue.
Oh, right.
And then we didn't get much of a reply from them lah. So then I think we took a week and we said, okay, we being me and Nicole, we said to ourselves, okay, I'm going to dig out every laminate company in Singapore, every type of green that they have.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to send it to our interior designer.
No, it even got to a point where when we were outside, right, we were actually hunting for the colour as well.
Correct. Yeah. We were like
And the thing is, we
hunting
saw
around
it
for
on like a shop renovation board.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It
So
was like a Kallang or something.
yeah, so we would write down all the codes and all the companies they were from, right? And then we compiled like 20 or something.
Oh.
We gave it to the designer and say, okay, you go and get samples from them. Give it to us. We are going to choose it ourselves. Okay, so he did that. Basically, he followed our instructions.
Yeah.
He did that. He gave us. And then we just had a day, right, where we sat down at our own dining table. We lay everything out.
Oh, yeah. I remember
and
that.
then we choose the colour ourselves. Essentially, from the 20 that we shortlisted ourselves, we then continued to choose the 2 colours that we wanted.
Yeah.
And then we tell him, hey, use this company code 123 and use this code 124 and then make this our kitchen.
Yeah.
So if this was a contractor, right, I think that is par for the course. That is within expectation. That is what you need to do. But
okay.
the fact that this was an interior designer that we were paying, interior design fees for, the fact that we had to do that and choose our own colours and like variations ourselves, I think that was a minus point for them. Bear in mind, right, I started out being very optimistic for this process. That was, I think, that and the electrical, right, were the first 2 kind of chips in the armor for like my perception of them. Yeah, so that was one of the things we had to learn for ourselves lah. And if I were to make this like a silver lining, right, is don't be afraid to take initiative. Don't be afraid. Just because a designer or contractor didn't suggest this to you, right, doesn't mean you cannot raise your hand and suggest it to them yourself.
Yeah, I think because ultimately you are the one living with it also.
Correct.
So it's like, I think you can kind of set aside being nice. Like maybe don't be afraid to in a way offend them. But I think in a way if they are offended it's kind of a red flag also.
Yeah. Okay, so we finished like laminates of our kitchen. Now we talk about tiles.
Okay, before we get too ahead of ourselves, I've just been informed by our editor, who is me, that I think we should continue the rest of our troubles of renovation in the next episode.
Okay, so we are running out of time. So for that, right, do stay tuned. We still have kind of a lot of things to say, a lot of lessons for you to learn if you have never done renovation before.
Yes.
So do watch out for next week. Subscribe on our
weeks.
Do watch out for our next 2 weeks. Follow and subscribe on our Ugly Wood Company to get notified. But we will end things off here.
Okay, so before we go, we would like to give you some unsolicited advice. And this week, I'll be giving my unsolicited advice. So my advice is, I think you should watch Superman 2025 because it's a really good film and it brings me a lot of hope.
Okay, kindness is punk rock. Thank you for listening to the Ugly Wood Company podcast. If you're interested in booking our services, please go to our website at www.uglywoodcompany.com and use the coupon code UWCpodcast for 10% off. That's UWCPODCAST. Links in the description.